What's up, guys? It's Darren. One of the biggest myths in sales is that you need to be likable, that you need to build rapport. You need to be this really charismatic, well-spoken, good-looking, good-smelling, good everything person in order to be good at sales. And fundamentally, that's just not true. So if you don't need rapport and you don't need to be likable, then why is it that people say it? Well, that's because if you've been around sales for very long, you've probably heard someone say, people buy emotionally and they justify logically. And that is true. See, people need to want something in order to buy it. They also need to feel confident that they're going to get some sort of result or benefit from the thing that they're buying, and they need to feel safe in buying it. They need to feel like they're not taking a massive risk in the process. And it's generally believed that if you can build rapport with someone, it will make them feel safer, it will make them feel more confident, and maybe somehow it'll make them want your product more. But that is not entirely accurate. See, like most things, there's nuance. It depends. One of the things you've probably heard before about rapport is this concept of KLT. Know, like, and trust. If you can get someone to know you, to like you, and to trust you, then they will buy from you. But again, that is not nuanced enough. See, if you have a childhood friend that's kind of a goofball and, they're never really been really successful at anything, never been the brightest person, but you like them as a person, right? You know them, you grew up with them, it's a childhood friend, you like them because obviously it's one of your friends, and you probably trust that person. But would you trust that person to buy a house from them, to buy a car from them, to buy insurance from them, to invest in stocks from them? And the answer to that is probably not. And why wouldn't you want to buy from them? Well, that's because knowing, liking, and trusting someone is nuanced. It depends. It is topic specific. See, I may trust that my friend is always looking out for my best interest, but I don't trust that my friend is capable of giving me good advice about buying a car, buying a house, buying insurance, buying stock, whatever the case may be. So you need to build the type of rapport with someone that's specific to the topic that you're trying to sell them on. So let's say that your friend is actually a car salesperson. And so now it's someone that you know, it's someone that you like, and you trust them in regards to buying the car. Would you be willing to buy the car from your friend, though, if you knew that they were not very good at their job? Even if they'd been doing it for a while, if they weren't very good at their job, would you feel comfortable buying the car from them? And the reason why you wouldn't is because it's not knowing, liking, and trusting. This is why likability is a myth. It's about respecting and trusting. That's the missing component. At least when it comes to any major purchase. On a small purchase, sure, they might buy from you or you might buy from them because you know them, like them, and trust them in regards to the specific topic. But when you get into the bigger purchases, you have to have respect. It is not about likability. See, nobody wants to make a big decision and buy from someone who's a noob, who's inexperienced, who's bad at their job. See, if I'm buying a car, I want to make sure I'm making the right decision. I want to buy from someone that I respect, who is successful and knowledgeable in cars, that can help guide me in the right direction to the right decision. That makes me feel safer and more comfortable making the purchasing decision from that person. That's why respect is more important than knowing or liking, and why those two things are basically a myth. Now, please do also still take note that respect is still nuanced and it still is topic specific. See, I may respect my doctor and I may respect my mechanic. They're both very good at two very different things. But would I ever respect my doctor enough for him to go work on the engine of my car? Absolutely not. Would I ever respect and trust my mechanic enough for them to go work on open heart surgery if I needed it? Definitely not. So respect is still somewhat nuanced. Trust is still somewhat nuanced. You need to, in your sales presentations, in your sales demonstrations, build respect and trust specific to the actual product that you are trying to sell. Now that we've busted the myth of likability and you know that it's actually about building respect and trust specific to your product, the question then comes to, well, how do you do that? And the answer is actually quite simple. Thinking again back to the doctor, if you were to go to a doctor's office, how do they build respect and trust with you for you to know that they're a good doctor and that they're prescribing or diagnosing you with the right thing? They ask a lot of questions. They ask a lot of questions specific to whatever it is that you're there for. So again, one of the big mistakes salespeople make, asking about kids and family and pets and, hobbies and that kind of stuff. It's not specific to what they're trying to sell. A doctor shouldn't be doing that in order to be an effective doctor. They should be asking, do you have a temperature? Do you have any stomach aches? Do you have this or that or the other? Things that are specific to the situation. And that's what allows them to diagnose you or prescribe you the right thing. If a doctor asked all the right questions about temperature and symptoms, and then they said, it sounds like you probably have XYZ disease or flu or virus or whatever, here's what I prescribe, that would make sense to you. You would listen to that. You would respect that. You would trust that. But if the doctor never asked those questions and all they did was ask you about your hobbies and your friends and your family, didn't ask anything about your symptoms, and then they suddenly said, yep, well, it sounds like you must have a broken shoulder. We got to do surgery on that. Would you respect that? Would you trust that? Again, definitely not. So how do you build respect and trust? It's through asking questions that are relevant to your product or service that you're trying to sell and relevant to the customer and their situation. Now, if you think any of this information is going to be helpful for you in your business and in your career, then please go ahead and hit the like button below because it helps out with the YouTube algorithm. If you'd like more information like this, feel free to also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be notified when I post new videos. Also, if you have any questions, please make sure to go ahead and comment them below and I will reply as soon as I can. Thanks, and we'll see you soon.